Hello everyone, welcome to Reading with Reference today. My name is Kim Christopher. I'm a reference librarian here at the Haverford Chancery Library, and today with this video series, per as usual, I am here to talk about the things I've read recently to share with you as reading recommendations. So here I have the book to share with you, Stuff You Should Know, an incomplete compendium of mostly interesting things, by Josh Clark, Chuck Bryant, and Niels Parker. And incomplete as this book, it's based on a 2008 podcast series that Bryant and Clark started, also called Stuff You Should Know. And as a result, the book is full of sort of seemingly random and bizarre facts about things in our world and society. For instance, the origin of the donuts, or where the pet rock came from, life of roadies, or how mustaches and beards aren't just facial hair, how they're a separate genuses of their own. All sorts of obscure and bizarre facts about our world. And so as a result, it's just a very fascinating read, and so I would highly recommend this as a nonfiction read, especially if you're someone who wants to be informed about all the things in our world and to know all the details about something, not to be feeling incomplete about a subject. Where Clark, Bryant, and Parker, they just dive into a subject. They go in depth. They give you every single bit of information you could possibly need and want to know about a subject or the subjects that they cover in this book, and that just makes it a really wonderful nonfiction read. And so yeah, I highly recommend Stuff You Should Know as a read. It is just a fascinating and informative read. And then here today for the second recommendation I have is the manga series Black Lagoon by Rei Hiroe. And in this, we the readers are introduced to the character of Rokuro Okajima, a salaryman from Japan who is, at the start of the story of the series, he is delivering a package for his company when he is kidnapped at gunpoint by the mercenary group Black Lagoon. And instead of being able to escape the Black Lagoon, he ends up in their employ as a member of the mercenary group. And from there, he gets involved in all the various jobs and misadventures that the Black Lagoon mercenary group gets themselves into, from diving for treasure at the bottom of the ocean on a Nazi sub, or things like protecting clients from lethal assassins, and even to a degree, for the sake of money, taking down terrorists and criminal groups. All sorts of things that make this a really hardcore action manga series that you might find in something like a Hollywood blockbuster flick. Has all the wacky comedy you would find in like a Jackie Chan martial arts flick, or the over-the-top guns blazing explosions from Die Hard. Everything you want and expect from an action series. And so I would highly recommend this for Japanese manga fans and fans of readers of action adventure stories, and also if you want something different in an action adventure story, not just the hardcore action that you would find in those Hollywood flicks I tried to go over, but as Hiroe, with his artwork, the action artwork that just draws you in on every single panel, he sort of forces you in a way to examine the world, seeing that there is a harsh reality to it, and that there has to be sort of a balance between the good and the bad of the world in order to live in it. And yeah, so it's hard to put into exact words and explain without spoiling anything about Black Lagoon, just how he managed to do that, make it a philosophical story and a hardcore action manga series. But yeah, I highly recommend this as a read. And then here, for the last recommendation today, I have the graphic novel My Favorite Thing is Monsters by Emile Ferris. And this is just an absolutely wonderful graphic novel. It's on a lot of reading recommendation lists. I finally took the time myself to pick it up and read it, and I regret I didn't pick it up earlier and start reading it. the story itself involves a young girl, Karen Ray's 10-year-old, in the late 1960s in Chicago. And, well, to say the least, her appearance, she looks like a werewolf. And as a result, she's ostracized by everyone in society who sees her, as a monster, and other than her close family and a couple friends. But that's what the title is all about. This young girl who's lonely, and she relates to monsters, these misunderstood individuals, just like her. And in the midst of everything going on in her life, trying to deal with her appearance and her love of monsters and family problems and everything, one of her neighbors in the apartment complex where she lives is killed or dies, or rather, the police rule her death as a suicide. Their death is a suicide, and Karen doesn't believe that, as she knew the neighbor knew that she would in no manner or form kill herself. And so from there, Karen, she embarks on a hunt, a personal vendetta, to try and find out why, well, in this case, she was murdered, because she believes that she was murdered. And it is a very complex, rich story that I can't possibly cover in the time that I have here with this video, but overall, I would highly recommend this as a graphic novel read, especially if you're someone who's just getting into reading graphic novels, or you're curious about them even. As my favorite thing is monsters, it just really highlights how graphic novels are able to deliver stories in the form that they deliver it, as the artwork in here just is amazing. The dialogue that the Ferris used is also just, as it's being told from the perspective of a 10-year-old, and it's also told in this diary sort of format. Every single page of this graphic novel, again, I regret I never picked this up earlier and started reading. It is just an absolutely gorgeous graphic novel that deserves to be on every reading list as it is, and on anyone's shelf who collects graphic novels. So, highly recommend this as a graphic novel read. And that is everything I have for reading recommendations for today, at least. And until we see each other again in another reading with reference, please do know that the library is still closed to the public at the moment, where we do have our pickup hours for the library, where it's Monday through Wednesday, 10 to 8, Thursday, 10 to 6, and Friday, Saturday, 10 to 5. You just request items on our library catalog. You'll get a notification when they're ready for pickup. Come up to the front door, tell them you're here for your holds. The person at the front door will grab your holds, get them, and check them out to you, and leave them on the table that we have at the front for you, so you can grab them. Or if you like, you can fill out a contactless pickup form on our library website, where you are able to fill that out. You get another notification again where they're ready for pickup. And you can give a phone call to us when you're on the way to give us an approximation when you'll be here. We'll leave them outside in our parking lot on a cart for you, or when you arrive, you can just give us a call, tell us you're here in the parking lot, and we'll do the same procedure. No contact. And until we see each other again, everyone, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and take care.